Former IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion Juice Robinson has officially signed a contract with All Elite Wrestling, becoming All Elite in the process. Speaking of possible new signings, what's the latest with Kota Ibushi in New Japan, and could he be joining his former tag team partner Kenny Omega in All Elite Wrestling in the future? We have an update when it comes to the rating for AEW Fight Forever, the video game. Shane Taylor makes his AEW debut last night on Rampage, challenging an AEW star to a match at Ring of Honor's Final Battle. Athena, her suspension is referenced on AEW television, and what happened with the House of Black when AEW Rampage went off the air. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of All Elite Wrestling, especially after last night's edition of AEW Rampage. And during the broadcast last night, we discovered another talent that is officially All Elite. AEW has announced that former New Japan Pro Wrestling star Juice Robinson has now officially signed with the company. During last night's edition of AEW Rampage on TNT, Robinson cut a promo issuing a challenge to Ring of Honor television champion Samoa Joe for the upcoming ROH Final Battle pay-per-view. It was later noted on commentary that Robinson has signed with the company, with Excalibur stating that calling out Samoa Joe was his first act as an AEW star. Following a stint in NXT as CJ Parker, Robinson gained a lot of his popularity following his return to the independent scene in 2015. Of course, that was the same year that Robinson made his New Japan Pro Wrestling debut and began working as a young lion. While with New Japan, Robinson won the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship on 3 occasions, became an IWGP Tag Team Champion alongside David Finlay, and won the World Tag League Tournament with Finlay in 2019. Robinson made his AEW debut on the September 28 edition of AEW Dynamite, losing to Jon Moxley in singles action, continuing their feud from New Japan Television. Following his bout, reports indicated that AEW was indeed interested in working with Robinson again in the future. Of course, Robinson is also married to former AEW Women's World Champion Toni Storm. Several matches have now been announced at Ring of Honor Final Battle, which will be headlined by a Ring of Honor World Championship match between the Ocho, Chris Jericho, and challenger Claudio Castagnoli. Of course, if Jericho wins that match, Castagnoli must join the Jericho Appreciation Society. And look, it's a fantastic signing for AEW. I'm sure. Well, I know for a fact there are plenty of interested parties. I know that obviously when Juice Robinson was in WWE, he was in NXT. It didn't go particularly well for him, and he left under the Triple H regime. So it's not to say that it was all great for him when Triple H was booking that territory. But at the same time, you know, he's gotten over a lot more. He's improved a significant amount since then. And I'm sure there would have been some interest by WWE to bring him back into the company and debut him on the main roster. But for him, it just makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? You know, he can stay in America. He can also work where his wife works and spend more time with his significant other. Again, there was major interest. Even going back to last year and earlier this year, there were comments that he didn't really just want to do the traveling anymore. For the foreign talent that wrestle in New Japan, they're gone, 16, 20 odd weeks of the year over there in Japan, and that travel is grueling, as well as doing the shows in America for, New Japan Strong or independent shows that can be traveling, and people can only do it for so long. And with his popularity, I think he was always going to get significant offers when his New Japan deal came up, and that's exactly what happened. So it's a good pickup for AEW. As far as, game changer, I'm so tired of that when we talk about people being signed by AEW. It's a game-changing signing. This is not a game-changing signing, but what they have signed is a real quality talent that I think can thrive in AEW. Depends on booking, as always, with all of these AEW signings. Depends on booking. Depends on not getting lost in the shuffle. Facing off against Samoa Joe at Final Battle will be interesting, because now that Samoa Joe holds 2 television titles, of course, he's the TNT champion as well as the Ring of Honor television champion, we might see a situation where Juice Robinson wins this one. And as we head into 2023, it's going to be a critical year for Ring of Honor. Make no mistake when it comes to that too, because Tony Khan's got to get a TV deal in 2023 when it comes to ROH. Otherwise, what's he going to do? He stated that he could put it on YouTube, and he's thought about putting it on YouTube, but he thinks the brand, the company, its heritage deserves more. And he's spoken that he feels confident that in 2023 he'll make an announcement regarding weekly Ring of Honor television. He's been in negotiations with Warner Bros. Discovery about this. 2023 is the big year when it comes to negotiations with Warner Bros. Discovery about extending the AEW deal. And all reports are that Warner Bros. Discovery is very, very happy with the ratings that they've gotten. Even now, when they are declining a little bit, they're still very happy because for what they're paying for and what was previously in the time slot, they weren't doing as well as what AEW was doing. So I'd be very, very, very surprised if AEW does not remain on Warner Bros. Discovery stations. But at the same time, as part of those negotiations, as part of expanding the relationship and getting paid more money, we might see a situation where ROH is brought to a weekly television spot on a Warner Bros. Discovery platform. What that is, I don't know, but Juice Robinson could be a big part of that as the Ring of Honor World Television Champion, so stay tuned for that. Speaking of New Japan talents coming to AEW, what about Kota Ibushi? Now, he's had a very, very frosty relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling over the last year or so. And given that 2022 has seen one major wrestling story after another breaking everything everywhere, you'd be forgiven for not knowing the saga of Kota Ibushi and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Ibushi hasn't wrestled for the promotion in over a year as he recovers from a shoulder injury. But it is the injury, New Japan Pro Wrestling's handling of it, and a dispute between Ibushi and New Japan officials that have led to serious, real serious questions about the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion's future with the promotion. There are, however, promising signs when it comes to Ibushi's recovery from the injury, though, which is definitely positive. Ibushi has begun light training in preparation for an in-ring return, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. And though it's too early to tell, it was noted that Ibushi's shoulder, which was injured in the 2021 G1 Climax Finals against Kazuchika Okada, has held up during the training, which is a very good sign for his eventual return. As for that being with New Japan, Ibushi's contract with the company runs through the end of January. And with all of the issues above between the two parties, it's definitely up in the air as to whether Ibushi would even be open to re-signing with New Japan, or if the two sides will indeed part ways, as has been expected for many, many months. I mean, again, this story, if you're not familiar, it's led to allegations of bribery, blackmail, releasing of screenshots of conversations between Ibushi and New Japan officials. Just Google it or go on social media. It's really, really wild. Now, many will recall, of course, that Ibushi has a number of connections with AEW. Most notably that being the cleaner himself, Kenny Omega, who has served as both Ibushi's occasional rival and longtime tag team partner. The duo wrestled as the Golden Lovers for many years. Ibushi himself has expressed interest in wrestling in AEW one day, telling a fan earlier in 2022 he would love the opportunity to step in the ring with former AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page. And again, given the way that things have been between Kota Ibushi and New Japan Pro Wrestling, this year, I would be really, really, really surprised if he stayed with the company. I don't know what the contracts are like with New Japan, so I don't know if they can do what WWE could do, and that's add time on or freeze his contract for injuries and what have you. But it would appear he's probably gone, and if he's going, you would think he's probably going to go to AEW because he does have connections there. He has wrestled in WWE before. He was part of the Cruiserweight Classic. I think he also maybe had a couple of matches in NXT, even though he wasn't signed. I remember him appearing in a crowd at a TakeOver event, and the feeling was at the time that he might sign with the company. Of course, it never happened. He went back, wrestled in New Japan, and became the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. The rest is history. So WWE kind of missed the boat on that one. So anything is possible. He could definitely go to WWE. That's a possibility. But given the connections, given the history, one would think he'd probably go to AEW. What that would do for the working relationship between AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, I don't know. That would be interesting to get into the politics side of things there. But I would expect to see Kota Ibushi inside of an AEW ring next year as long as his shoulder holds up. Been a lot of discussion, hasn't there, about AEW Fight Forever. And as the year comes close, the upcoming AEW video game, AEW Fight Forever, is dragging on and on. We're waiting. It's coming soon, and we're still waiting for an official release date. When's it going to happen? We're getting screen grabs, we're getting trailers, but we're still getting no official release date. And while there is still no firm release date for the game, things are moving along enough that we may know now what the game will be rated as. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer touched upon a rumor that Fight Forever would receive an M for mature rating, which would be quite unusual for a wrestling video game. In fact, that does not appear to be the case. Meltzer is reporting that Fight Forever will follow in the footsteps of WWE games and will be rated T for teen. As for how this rumor got started, a username Mr. Havoc83 shared a photo on Reddit showing a supposed marketing sleeve for Fight Forever with a rated M sticker on it. It should be noted, however, that the screenshot contained an old version of the cover featuring CM Punk front and center. Punk is still yet to return to AEW since the post-All-Out incident and is reportedly ready to move on from the promotion, but remains contracted to AEW nevertheless. It still sounds as though like Punk will be included in the final version of the game. AEW representatives and officials recently confirmed to Sportskeeda that Punk indeed would be a part of the game, and if anyone was removed from the game, they would announce it publicly. The rating reveal comes nearly 2 weeks since the last update on Fight Forever, which was the unveiling of the official trailer for the game at AEW Full Gear. The official cover for the game will now feature Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Chris Jericho, MJF, Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Orange Cassidy, Sting, and Jade Cargill. But as far as the release date, we're still none the wiser. Of course, once we get one, we'll talk about it here on the channel as well as any new future trailers. Shane Taylor is in AEW. With Keith Lee, he was talking last night to Renee Paquette backstage on AEW Rampage, and he was approached by Shane Taylor, who referred to his history with Lee. Taylor challenged Lee to a tag team match at Ring of Honor Final Battle, where he said he would be bringing his tag team partner, J.D. Griffey. Shane wondered, however, who Keith Lee would be able to find as his partner. It was at this point that Swerve Strickland appeared in the camera's frame, though he had just joined the conversation, with Lee mildly exasperated. "Can I even count on you, dude?" he asked, to which Swerve did not reply. Rather, he just removed his glasses. So it would appear that we're going to get a tag team match at Final Battle, and it's seemingly going to be Swerve in Our Glory against Shane Taylor and JD Griffey. But great to see Shane Taylor in AEW. I don't know, again, if this is a case of Taylor being signed with the company or what his role would be in Ring of Honor going forward. I would assume it's probably going to be more based in Ring of Honor going forward. But again, when we say going forward, we still don't know when Ring of Honor TV is going to start or anything like that. So we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Speaking of Rampage last night, Athena, her suspension, and I do suspension like that, was referenced on last night's show. On last night on Rampage, it featured AEW commentary publicly addressing a recent suspension on air for the first time. During a match between Athena and Danny Moe, commentary referenced her previous incident of attacking referee Aubrey Edwards after a match. According to commentary, Athena was suspended for 5 days and also had her pay suspended during that period of time as well. Athena and a new dastardly heel persona will go on to the upcoming Ring of Honor pay-per-view Final Battle to face Ring of Honor Women's Champion Mercedes Martinez for the ROH Women's Championship. Still no public official comment has been made on suspensions of Andrade El Idolo or CM Punk. Of course, they're real suspensions and Athena's was not. So that was the situation there. But to be honest, at this point, AEW Rampage is basically Ring of Honor TV because it's just putting in these storylines for Final Battle, realistically. And that's really what the show is. Speaking of Rampage last night, the show was main evented with Orange Cassidy facing QT Marshall and retaining his All-Atlantic Championship in a lumberjack match. Following the match, Cassidy and Kip Sabian brawled at ringside, as did the other lumberjacks. During the brawl, though, the lights went out, and when they came back up, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King appeared. The House of Black members attacked all of the lumberjacks as the show went off the air. It turns out, though, that AEW's cameras continued rolling after the end of the broadcast. In an exclusive clip shared by AEW, Black, Matthews, and King put Brandon Cutler through a table at ringside. Black then told Cutler the attack wasn't personal before calling out the Elite, stating that the people Cutler associates himself with are a problem. Of course, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are currently involved in a best-of-7 series of AEW Trios Champions Death Triangle. Following the Elite's victory on the November 30 edition of Dynamite, the series standings are now 2-1 to Death Triangle. As I've said before, I think the place we're moving to here is, I think what we're getting is going to be the Elite winning the best of 7 series, winning back the AEW Trios World Championships. I think the Elite will then feud with the House of Black, and possibly by that point, who knows, they might just then feud with FTR and possibly, just maybe, CM Punk. Who knows? I mean, I'm teasing that. Who knows? By that point, the FTR could be gone from AEW. I think their contract expires in April. And CM Punk, who knows what the situation is going to be. Look, anything's possible. And again, 2022 has proven that anything is possible. The House of Black is just good to have them back. I enjoyed the ending of Rampage, even though, as I mentioned, it's a show that nobody really cares about. The time slot sucks. The fact this tape sucks. And we've been conditioned as an audience to not really care about this show. Therefore, people don't tune in. And I don't expect that to change this week. But there you go, guys. That's the latest AEW news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts on today's AEW news stories in the comment section below. And I'll speak for you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.